in the state of Texas, you have to expose your gun. So even in Texas, you will go. We're all in the supermarket. You see people carrying Kalashnikovs and all of that. If you're Johnny Jescam and you went to Texas, you will, you will be scared and stuff like that. And the laws. And when they say open carry, you cannot conceal your weapon if you don't have a concealed weapon permit. And so that's the situation. Now, who knows? Boy could be, a licensed gun owner or exporter or whatever. But what does the law on our books say? And how many guns? Is it the first shipment that has come to Liberia that got busted, or are there many shipments that have slipped through the cracks? This is where police is investigating.
And so, those are some of the questions that I think were asked the police director on yesterday, whether it was just a single shipment or these are shipments that have been coming in over time. And the same as if it was not just a single shipment. So, probably, but the number of weapons, we should state that the police that they found were 15, not 450.
Yeah, 15.
So if that number of weapons was shipped over time, it means that they were using various means to maybe hide it in the container and all of that.
They got 10 of those weapons from the barrel that were assembled. And mind you, they disassembled them. It is our professionals who went back and assembled them and put the different rounds and all of that down.
So some of the folks that have been out there questioning say, how would these cache of arms come in the country in that level of quantity? Because they were disassembled, they were concealed and all of that, placed in the container. It's the same way like we had with the 100 $1 million drug bust situation that it was concealed amongst frozen goods.
Right.
So it's not like the person openly just put out guns on a container and say, well, I'm going to ship it to Liberia. Obviously, that's going to raise some red flags.
And mind you, the other 5 were retrieved from the house. In the attic. When this guy who ran in the attic and when they went to raid the house. And he jumped in the attic, and that's where they found the rest of the other guns.
And I just wanted to stress how professional law enforcement officers acted. In some other countries, you would have seen, in some other countries within our region, you probably would have seen that when the police had leads, they would have gone to that particular house, raided immediately. But what the police director said was that they went to the property, they cordoned it off, and waited for a search and seizure warrant from the court.
Right. They didn't just go in.
They didn't just go in.
Illegally.
They waited for a search and seizure warrant from the courts of Liberia before going into a person's, those people whom, and then, searching it and what have you, and then found the cache of arms. So that is the level of professionalism that the police is beginning to exhibit. So when some of this information came out on day before yesterday, the police waited to get all of their facts together. They had made some arrests and what have you, and they called the journalists and say what they could say at the time. This information can be progressive. Some of the time they got one information to give you that particular information at the time. Other times, a particular information will not be deserving to be given to the public because of national security concern. Or probably the investigation is still ongoing, so the security would not want to unfold put out certain information within the public. That was why, in fact, one of the journalists asked yesterday, say, will we cover the opening of this? The police director did say they don't want this to be a Facebook investigation.
Right.
So they're going to be a little bit professional about it. And so far, they've acted quite professionally, Kwame.
Yeah, and one question that one of the reporters asked, which was very professional, but I like the answer that the IG gave, that look, when we got the tip off, we had to seal the container immediately because we didn't know where these alleged culprits will be. So we had to first, because the container was already or is already in our possession. We don't have to go around looking for it. So we'll always come back to check again. So, but first, catch the rabbit, then we all share.
And because we have similar, but let's bring in firstly the press secretary. What's your take on this, Sulu?
Well, I think it's a very...
We're talking guns.
I am not guns. I'm talking guns. I think, it's sad that these things are happening in our country. And when there is no need for that.
You're so right.
There is no need for that.
Absolutely not.
You have a democracy that is thriving, a democracy,
vibrant democracy
that people in our own region envy, people outside the world envying. So why would you want to use gun for other purpose? What do you want to do? But I think it's a good thing. Let's give our security actors the chance to do the work.
Yeah.
And we just hope at the end, our people who always want to find another angle will not attribute it to say, well, it's a political question.
And the thing about that is quite sad because
end,
we're beginning to see some of those kind of comments on social media, and it's coming from some politicians, which is quite sad. Because the thing is, and I read a comment, and I think the person was spot on. He said, if you don't know about something, don't talk about it.
Right.
Don't talk about it.
Right.
Because you don't know to what extent the police went before collecting, catching these arms. You know that in the case of the $100 million bus, they work with the U.S. Embassy, they work with the U.S. government, they work with members of the CIA and all of that. The police did thank the Americans yesterday for their support. That's as far as they were wanted to go.
Yeah, they couldn't go in.
Thank the Americans for the support and all of that. So it just makes
But
you,
why would
especially
the
as a
police-
political actor, with such level of status and profile, coming up without even the conclusion of an investigation, but just the initial report, and jumping to conclusions instead of
this is where I hit what the opposition does, with this pivoting and back and forth. The same LMP, during the June 7 protest, right?
Yeah.
The LMP came out and said they saw the gun with Honorable Kaluba, right?
Yeah.
They condemned the LMP. When Costa and Kaluba was in that little brawl, Costa opened and said, "Hey, my man, and I may save you," Then they believed the the LMP.
Yeah.
Now, they never believed the LMP in any other stuff. Recently, they're asking the LMP to investigate their 70K that got missing.
Yeah.
They wrote the same guys.
Yeah.
So you can't eat your cake and have it. One moment the LMP is credible when it suits them. One moment they are
LMP is not
it's
credible.
not credible. This
But
can't
I think
happen. We
the
can't
la-
keep moving the goalposts like this.
The new trust are reading between the lines.
Yes.
They have realized what these guys stand for. They realize that, these are not people they can count on now because of the inconsistency. And they are believing to trust the LMP and our security apparatus no matter how other people want to term their results, how other people want them to look like. They know the LMP is working.
Yeah.
And once you are working with your counterparts, because this is the thing. Now the LMP commanded the U.S. Embassy or the U.S. authority. These are the people our people believe in. So it tells you that, there is no way they are going to accuse Boyka falsely. Boyka is not part and parcel. So these people that are beginning to cry wolf or want attention to be shifted, probably they know exactly.
No,
where the
but
investigation is going
but
to.
also
That
we should,
might-
I wanted
that
to
might.
just stress on that, and I think we should put out the fact that the police did make. There was a specific question asked yesterday in
Yeah,
that
that came-
direction.
that came
came
from
from you,
yeah,
Kwame.
yeah.
And the police did say at this stage we do not have any reason to link any political party to this particular thing because people were kind of considering the fact that we go into elections and all of that. So maybe this could be done out of some political motive. The police said they can't make those kind of inferences at the moment because they don't know the motive. As a matter of fact, somebody asked specifically about the charge. And the police director said, well, he's not concerned about charge as much as he's concerned about the motive at this stage and continuing the investigation to find out whether there are more arms out there. Because one of the things he also said was that there are caches of ammunitions for which they can see the arms. There are parts of weapons for which they can see the particular arm amongst the cache that they caught yesterday.
Right.
So he doesn't know whether those things are on the market, they're in the country, or they were expected to come in the country. So I just wanted to issue that disclaimer that the police have blamed a particular person. So let's stick to that, what the police have said.
And Boyka, journalism is always like telling a story.
Yeah.
And in telling that story, you have to know what makes up that entire story.
Yeah.
And the piece of the puzzle, that and what if, what could have, should have.
Yeah.
Those are some of the questions that's why I prompted the question I asked yesterday.
Yeah.
Because we know we've seen a lawmaker who have apologized. Maybe, according to him, some of the journalists asked him, you think it was the international community when he said, we're going to bring war,
irresponsible comment.
Yeah, he said that. And then this was the first time I ever seen this lawmaker on his knee begging and saying, I want if my statement, and people don't. You got to research, and based upon all of these things, that's what we ask that hypothetical question.
And the thing
Whether
about it,
was connected.
You just got to be
and stuff
responsible
like
some
that.
of the times when you make
Yeah.
your utterances, especially
Yeah.
as a political leader. Because even in the society generally, if a man is wife fighting and say, "Oh, I will beat you one day and hurt you," that woman mistakenly get hurt by something and then say,
Yeah.
At some point, they're obviously going to say that the public threat that you made.
Right.
They probably might link it to that before they do their investigation and then find out. So some of the time, it's just good to be responsible in the utterances that you make as a political leader.
Yeah, and
You know?
those tough questions
There
will
are
always
certain,
be
there are
asked.
certain things, there are certain things you can't just do. What is in your blood is there.
Yeah.
Your nature is your nature. So there's no way you can beautify or dignify.
I know.
So people are just saying exactly who they are.
That's another thing.
There's no way you can change it.
Yeah.
A cat is a cat.
Yeah.
But you should see some of the comments
People
yesterday. Go ahead, sir.
People always say goat is an animal with 4 legs. But not all animal 4 legs are good.
Yeah.
So if you are good, you just remain, once you good, you remain a good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Nothing
true.
can change it.
Come here, see?
And and thanks Solo for putting that out. But you read some of the comments yesterday. People were already started to. They have already started to. Say things that are not in line with what the police already said, because people will speculate. This is a time of citizen journalism.
Yeah.
People can go anywhere on their own page and just write anything they want to write, and this is not good for our country, Boakai.
Absolutely not good. And one of the things I just wanted to talk about, Solo hinted at earlier, is the state of our democracy. We've built so much. We've done so much over the last decade or so to build our democracy. I mean, the previous government, we should give them credit under President Sirleaf. The current government, we should also give President George and Weah a lot of credit. They've been able to open up the political space, with political pluralism, that there are different actors, that are allowed to speak their mind as they so wish. Some of the times they say in a post-conflict society, that is absolutely necessary. If an actor comes up one day, feels aggrieved with the system, and then voices his opinion, in a responsible manner, but they can be stingingly critical as they want. They can go home feeling satisfied. Say, yeah, I've dealt with those authorities today. So that is the kind of environment we've created. And then there's also been coronated by the fact that we have free, fair, and democratic elections, which have been sort of validated, acclaimed internationally as some of the best in the region, very free and transparent and all of that. I mean, there's been elections in this country that the opposition have won totally and then mock the ruling party. And President Weah has come out to say congratulations to the members of the opposition.
Twice.
Besides that, he's committed to ECOWAS meetings of free, fair, and transparent election, and not wanting to stay in power one day beyond his legitimate term. AU meetings, he made a commitment again to the Biden summit that was held last year, and then to the Africa Leadership Summit.
I may remind you what it was President Weah alone at this with the ECOWAS thing with Alpha Conde when he got overthrown by the young captain then, and he said that look. In our Liberian parlance, let's talk so. If our people are not doing some of these things, that will, perpetuate them in power, some of these things will not happen. But then listen to this, when you go see your shrink, right?
Yeah.
They will advise you sometimes and say, okay, go home, grab a baseball bat.
Yeah.
You were talking about, the stage of our democracy where people will say all kinds of stuff, vent their angers and all of that. It said, grab a baseball bat, go to the car lot and just smash some windshields.
Vent your anger.
Right, and come back. And that, what do you think, Solo?
But I think what Baka was saying, and a lot of people who know President Weah, they will know exactly that what he's doing, to make our democracy enviable, it's not a strange thing.
Yeah, not at all.
A lot of politicians have told President Weah in 2005 when he lost the first election, when it was glaring that that the people made a decision. And they were telling him, I'm not like George Weah who won election and let people take it from him.
Who said that? Oh, okay, all right. I got what you mean.
You understand?
Yeah.
These are some of the things I seen. And the man said, I fought hard to take guns from the hands of people just to bring peace to Liberia.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the one to give people guns to destabilize my country.
Not at all.
In fact, when people say that, they couldn't just imagine working for Madam Salif. He said all he lived for was peace.
Yeah.
So self as peace ambassador was nothing. And he continued to reiterate, see what he said.
Mm-hmm.
When my tenure expired, I'm out. When the Liberian people make that decision, that's that decision, he's going to respect it. Do you know one of the things the president is trying to put forth? He wants to see if it is possible, if we can have like a rotational leadership, in a sense that
Wow.
if CDC rules for the 2 term, the next term should be given to another party. That is
Exclusively,
exclusively. So let's see how people ideas will evolve. But again, he cannot do that by himself.
Yeah, exactly.
It has to-
Because that's a determination that has to be
And
made
you
by the
have-
national legislature and the
Right.
Liberian people. Yeah.
Right.
So it's just a man who wants power at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
We not want those things to happen.
Mhm.
You circumvent laws to suit him.
Yeah.
See, Museveni, sometimes it's not good to call people names, but the president of Uganda,
Yeah.
before he won the 2021 election, or to be eligible to contest because of the age limit, he took his lawyer, he took his parent, and they went to the hospital where you were born. And he said he make mistake with age, they have to change birth certificate. Just imagine. So I mean, our people who want to do this kind of thing, bring arms, those are listen people. People
You
who
know,
really
so
work for
so
our
one of the things I just wanted to appeal to opposition politicians out there. You know, nobody has pointed accusing fingers
Right.
at you. Nobody
Right.
has said this is.
Right.
You know, we all should be concerned.
Right.
And I want to say kudos to the political leaders themselves. They haven't issued those kinds of denials outrightly. It is their surrogates
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that have been out there putting
So
out
far,
all kinds
so
of
far,
so
yeah.
far.
So far, so
You know,
good.
so far so good. They behave so responsibly, and then wanting to see the state of the investigation and all of that. That's what any responsible political leader will do. Because at this stage, the police director was clear. He said, "Well, I mean, we want to dissociate this investigation with some of the reckless comments that people have been making.
Right.
Although people made reckless comments, and none that will have maybe a clear
But
present
this is in
danger.
no
there is
way
a-
so far now
there is
tied
not
to-
there's not
You're
tied
right.
to it.
Right.
They've seen no link
Right.
so far. So for you to just come out outright and say this is a lie, this is a lie. No, you see the kind of duplicity. Well, the drug bust is true, but the arms catch on the same circumstances is a lie. You understand?
Right.
So that is, it just shows that the people will play politics with anything. You know, even the lives of ordinary Liberians. People are scared out there. I had my sister call me yesterday and said, "Look, is this true? I'm afraid." You know, so imagine the number of people that are out there and afraid and say, "Oh, this shouldn't take us back to the dark days."
They're not doing justice
Yeah.
to the LMP, to the Liberian people. Every time the Liberian National Police hits a home run, I would call this a home run.
Yeah.
They think, they try to politicize, out of the AFL or
Yeah.
the LMP and say that CDC. And that's the problem with Liberia all
Yeah.
the time. The AFL one time was Do AFL, Do Army.
Yeah.
Then they come back, it was this. So anybody's in power, you own these guys. And then one moment they're credible when they're feeding you when you're protesting and you don't have food to eat. The next moment they're not credible when they find something that will make you look bad because of all of these comments that are coming from you, Waka.
Yeah.
I think Waka, what you said, I want to agree with you, but I think I would also want these political leaders to go beyond what they are doing.
Yeah.
And say something.
And say something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell the surrogates, hey, this is of national concern.
Yeah.
This concerns every one of us. Because people always say that the only person who is mindful of the causality is the one who has a good. Because good to normally take side with causality. So you gotta be very careful.
I was listening to one of the networks on last evening. So the police director said Benjamin Boyd Baker, right, is the person suspected of sending these arms to Liberia. And people started to Google Boyd Baker and all kinds of different names on social media and other platforms. And then different photographs came up. And so people started to peddle that. And so these names, people with these names started calling networks and saying, look, that's not me. I mean, my name is Boyd Baker, but that's not me. So I think, so I think the police has put out the I don't know whether they put out the right pictures, but there's a new picture now, and there are people saying these two persons are different. So the initial photograph of people, that were peddling out there, is different, completely different from the Benjamin Boy Baker, and that person lives in Texas.
Right.
So far we haven't seen anybody with the name Benjamin Boy Baker coming up and saying, "Oh, that's not me," because obviously there were some the Americans can call it interagency investigation. We have our national security apparatus
right,
that
and
are working together.
like what Soto was talking, that the political leaders from the opposition should say something.
Yeah.
They never say something until maybe they find out that something's about to happen before they start to speak. The same thing happened with the census.
Yeah.
When it started out the park, they were saying all kinds of stuff until it took the international community and people from the UNFPA to say, look, this is not political. We have these numbers thrown all over the place, and then they had to come back again to tell their supporters, no, this thing is good, and it's in your favor. I mean, say something now, or go to the Liberian National Police and sit down with Patrick Sudu and ask him what's going on. And so you'll be able, at what point one time that you will be able to, you can't just leave it open like that. Especially when it comes to the security of the state.
The only thing they have to offer the Liberian people, since they are not doing nothing, is to just take the little side, go down the hill, and once you go down the hill, you remain down the hill.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask you, Solo. I know the president was meeting the former president Ellen Johnson Sullivan yesterday. When this news sort of broke and all of that. I mean, is he fazed by it?
Well, the president meeting with Madam Salif, to be frank, has nothing to do with.
I know,
what is
absolutely. I mean, but this
the
information.
president is doing what you call his normal routine reach out, outreach to. It's not just Madam Salif, but other political leaders. He has been reaching out to them, some to inform, some you have conversation with them. He's also having some. He's also reaching out to members of the armed forces of Liberia, having interaction with them. And by the way, so to say this, he's also doing similar reach out to the media this Sunday.
Yeah, so it's her.
They will be having some
event,
not just sporting events.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be having conversation. Those that can go to church, that can pray, will go to church with him. Sit down to the resort, have some volleyball, basketball games, and they on the sideline discuss some issues. So he normally reach out to them. This is not the first meeting with Madam Salif. I think this should be the fourth. Sometimes he met with, how you call it, Europe. They had lengthy conversation on phone.
Mm-hmm.
We usually do that to work out until maybe certain things start to happen, but he still doesn't mind.
Yeah.
He still takes his phone and call, give helping hand wherever he can, and that's the kind of person you have.
You say he's going to reach out to the media this
Sunday.
This Sunday.
Does that include Waka and myself?
We are all part of it.
We are organized.
We are all part of it.
We are
I
organized.
think you are the main organizer. So basically, that's the kind of person you have. Well, the person is only concerned when it comes to these things. Sometimes he sits and wonder, but why this?
Mm-hmm.
And why this? We yearn for peace, we have the peace. Somebody always stress, and everywhere you went, every opportunity is given, you talk about making Liberia peaceful.
Yeah. The meeting yesterday, just the optics of the meeting yesterday with President Salif. I mean, I just loved the kind of interaction, the smiles on her face, the smiles on the president's face. It seemed as if they were having a really wonderful interaction, exchanging pleasantries and all of that. I mean, it just shows how far we've come in our democracy. Because I remember, I haven't lived that long, but I know of times when there's been real conflict between we remember the time when we had the former president living within the country, moving back and forth, making political comments, and having the current leader visiting with them and all of that. I think if my recollection serves me right, this is the first time that has ever happened in our recent history.
You're so right. You may be driving in Monrovia and see, the shadow buildings, and some of the bad areas and all of that. But one thing that looks, beautiful is our democracy. And that picture yesterday,
Yeah.
it's a picture tell 1,000 story.
Yeah.
That told 1,000,000 story to see the former and the incumbent, the current. You only see those things happening in places like the United
US,
States,
yeah.
And
The
all of
US.
that. And to see that
And we should state they are from different political parties.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are from different. It's not like one leader, gave the opportunity to another from the same political party. So you say they will be in good
It's
rapport.
just
They
the
are from
respect,
different
right, the
political
respect-
institutions.
the
They were
respect-
bitter rivals.
Right. Respect for the office.
They were bitter rivals in 2 elections. And to see them come along, having that level of.
Mind you, it had to take the president to do what he did
Yeah.
to get to this place in the name
apart,
of
from,
peace.
apart from that, even the two persons, they normally have friendly exchanges. They sometimes disagree,
yeah.
but then what comes up first is Liberia. So these are the kind of things people want to see. But yesterday they will tell you, oh, Baka has done nothing. President Weah has nothing. When for the first time we have this kind of a situation, this kind of environment,
Yeah.
where people sit in the U.S. and say Liberia is not safe, but they come to Liberia.
Yeah.
They are the last person to leave the club, but still
Yeah.
Liberia is not safe. Yeah, I mean, let's say these things.
No, that's so true. They're the last person to leave the club.
Yeah, they say people looking for them, but yesterday they go, they come back, they work. Anybody want to go free? Nobody.
Let's open the lines.
Thank God for
And
Call us-
before you open the line, I have this line for somebody asked me to just say this line.
Okay.
It is not part. It has nothing to do with all of this. I'm hearing, according to them, they're hearing that those guys that sell the generators and the guys
they're
that,
running out of business.
and the community current people, they're going on protests.
In fact, we will
because
talk about- we
because
should talk about
LEC is stable. Yeah, just a joke, guys.
I know. Open up the line. Let's open up the lines. Call us on the following numbers. 080. Wait, let me get the number again. Sorry, we got to cut off that one again. 08005140996. Okay, call us now on that. 08005140996 or 086561537. Let's talk to this first caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Baba.
Yeah, your name, where are you calling from?
My name is Morris, Pastor, calling from Togo community.
Yeah, Morris, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I take the money for the show. You know what I mean, Baba? I think yesterday, I listened to the show on ELBC from Central there.
Okay.
For me, I want to get the best word. The current thing, the president wins. They come around, it will be what it is. They can't do it, they get the best the picture is just all out. I'm going to bring over the Anshan we are, a number of we are, a number of the president, if we will come up people, and we want to go for. So, rest of power, and they get encouraged of what it is. All the head material for the 2018, all the head material, the
I know. Okay. Thank you, Morris. Assistant Minister Jura Sana, good morning.
Good morning, okay.
Yeah. I won't say your name. Where are you calling from again? I said I almost said I call your name, but then I almost said again your name and where you calling from. But go ahead.
Oh, you are moving. No, I want to take this time to commend our joint security forces for what they did in the last 48 hours.
Yeah.
They have prevented mayhem. They have prevented carnage that should have been brought onto this country. We are going through war before, 15 good years of destructions, but yet people still have not learned from what happened. But anyway, in any situation, there will always be wicked people.
Yeah.
God being our protector, God being our God, this country will not go through what we went through before. If the people want to change any government, they will do it through democracy.
Yeah.
But government was elected by the people of Liberia. If the people believe that Joe Weah has done well, he will be re-elected overwhelmingly this year.
So no amount of threat can stop the democracy from flourishing.
Yeah.
Our non-security is working in collaboration with the Americans. You saw what happened a few months ago. Over 100 million worth of drug arrived at the port of Monrovia. It was knocked down. The corporates have been arrested. They have been prosecuted.
Yeah.
Same thing happened 48 hours ago. Thank God that this arm did not arrive and landed in the wrong hands to cause destruction. The God that made us to see these things, that God will never die. Joy will not fail. Joy will deliver, and liberty will never fail.
Okay.
God has those dark days. Thank you very much, all of you guys in the studio. That you guys are doing marvelous work this morning. Thank you again.
Thank you. Let's talk to this caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Baka.
Yeah, your name, where you calling from?
Baka, this is Jalama.
Hey, Mr. Temple. What's up?
Good morning, Baka.
Yeah, go ahead. Jalawa Temple is the Deputy Minister of Public Affairs. Go ahead.
Good morning, Opa, and good morning, Solo. Sorry for the bad quality of my voice.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that people need to understand, and I'm glad that Kwame was also there because I've been found. Barbara, lady works and makeup. If you check on the boxes yesterday, and the journalists were there, the boxes was labeled. Some of the boxes were labeled. The boxes were labeled. Barbara Debab with her name. Well, that's it. Was labeled. Her name was labeled on the boxes with her number. So I don't too sure that some of the guys who are, running with these kind of issues about, government is making up story, doing this and what have you, I don't too sure that they have interest in this country. So I'm glad that the police did, the security did well yesterday, and let's pray to see how the whole issue will end up. I'm joining them. Now they said we're doing the full-scale investigation session of that continuum. I'm almost with them.
Okay, all right, I think we lost him. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, your name, where you calling from?
Good morning, Vicky, and good morning.
Yeah, go ahead, make your point.
Yeah, good morning, Brother, and good morning to the people of Liberia.
Okay.
My name is Opi Oni Johnson, and I joined the conversation with the headquarters of the Veterans during the open meeting this morning.
Okay.
Well, let me appreciate you guys for your brilliant presentation with regards to training issues in our society. And I think I must begin with commending the drone security for their effort made thus far in arresting ammunition, especially those ammunitions that were being brought to the country by some unknown personality was wrong. And I think that's the reason why I'm concentrating police to launch an investigation even beyond this so as to establish the facts behind those guns that were being brought to Liberia.
Okay, O'Neill.
It has the propensity to derail our peace. And moreover, what it does is that it creates fear in investors. Those investors who have come to the country to invest in our economy, they may not be able to come to Liberia because of the current situation. So lastly, I'd like to call on the president to speak to the country so as to help alleviate the fear in the people. Thank you.
Thank you, O'Neill. Let's talk to other callers. Good morning.
Good morning, Baga.
Yeah, your name, where you calling from?
And let me say good morning to your colleagues in studio.
Okay.
My name is Eugene S. Jobo Jr., and I call you from Capital Bypass.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me say thanks for the information being provided, to the Liberian people. And I pray that it will do better and more, because it is essential, Baga, with that kind of information coming from the police. Even like also I've been saying that the President Weah have no interest of even going third term. No. President Weah is the first president in our history to really attempt reducing the tenure of the president from 6 years to 5 years, and we refuse it. So why would the president make a story, or why would the government make a story that armed kings in this country, by the same government? It's impossible. Look, we don't want to tell our brothers and sisters who are on the other side. If you think this president is not doing well, just wait for October. let's go to the ballot box and exercise our political franchise. If you think President West is doing well, go and exercise, go and vote against him. But we know, the majority of Liberian people know this president is doing well, is doing better, and we will protect this peace and the democracy. Nobody will take state power.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Your name and where you calling from?
ELBC Radio99.9 is my name. That is from Mount Barclay, City View.
Okay. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, my concern has to do with the and ammunition that they form. We are asking the government and the police to do their best. Their best, I think they can do to help the Liberians to follow who beyond the scene. Because we know what happened in the country, we know what been passing through, and we want it happen again. Thank you to everybody.
Okay. Yeah. Let's have more calls. Good morning. Good morning. Let's take more calls. Good morning.
Good morning, brother. How you doing?
I'm good. Your name and where you calling from?
Brother, this is Aaron Zane from Rehab here.
Okay, Aaron.
Brother, I could be fair with you. It's time for customers to double their effort to their work. You see, just by going to the guy house and finding ammunition and guns there, look at me before you. It tells you that he don't bring it. He don't carry through that put. It will only.
You say who? Costa?
No.
Customs.
Oh, customs. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, because I wanted to make sure that we don't establish links that were not created by the police
Just by going
themselves.
to the guy house and finding ammunition at the house.
Mm-hmm.
It tells you that he don't bring it. He don't coming through that put. So
Yeah.
a lot of people that go out.
Yeah.
But you got to inspect the barrels very well.
Okay.
That's what input this morning.
Thank you so much. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Your name, where are you calling from?
I'm Philip P. Lorenzo Jr. I joined the conversation from Tottenham, Bombing County.
Philip, go ahead.
Okay, let me commend your studio guests and the work you are also doing for the Liberian people to unveil some of the ills in society.
Okay.
You know the issue of the arm at the time in Liberia, they have serious security implications. And so I'm calling on our national security apparatus to do continuous search and cordon to bring that under control and make sure all those people who are connected to this be brought to book. But what really catch my attention is the President we have visit to ex-President Selly.
Okay.
You know, Liberia has come a long way, brother.
Yeah.
Now, relatively 18 years of peace. I don't call it fragile peace again because we are going to about a decade now. For an ex-president to be visited by a current president without political disparity coming from different engaging camps, it speaks enough volume to the political development of our country. And for any nation to develop politically, it should have to develop economically. There should be political development. And this government has been elected democratically. For me, the first multi-party democratic election in Liberia that the native of Paco Mafia have been pushing is the election of President Weah. Under this president, there is no political prisoner. Under the president, there are a whole lot of distraction and what have you. But this government is so mature to sustain the peace, and I believe President Weah will be re-elected and Liberia will move forward. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you. Let's talk to this other caller. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Weeks.
Yeah, Director Ruiz. Where are you calling from?
Thank you. My name is Mark Doku, and I call from the Office of the Intellectual Alliance of Liberia.
Yeah, Mike, go ahead.
Let me appreciate you both for the conversation, but I'd like to begin with appreciating the security apparatus for the job well done. You know, Minister Fofana, in this country, there are a lot of people who want to derail or turn our peace into different things. But the president that we serve, the president that is governing this country, is blessed. He's blessed in the sense that when tons of drugs that came to this country was arrested being brought to book and was burned. Now we are seeing arms and ammunition. If being arrested and the perpetrator will be brought to book in the soonest possible time. Because once you want to derail this peace, that the peace that we enjoy, the uninterrupted peace, you will be brought to book. If you want to unseat President Weah, this is not the way to unseat him. We go at those days where people will go to Butuo to bring war on our people. Go to the ballot box in October and vote if you want to remove President Weah. But the vast majority of the people are resolved that this president has done excellently well to secure a second term. And we, as citizens of Liberia, we are ready to vote President Weah comes 2023. So whatever plans that the opposition has, and I recall this guy in questions that brought or shipped this gun, I recall that he was one of the guy who was doing video recording for Ellis Comey in the U.S. Well, Ellis Comey went to the U.S.
Well, there's been various boy bakers coming up. So
Right.
so people beginning to a little be skeptical about the initial postings. I know initially everybody was thinking the boy baker that was doing the video recording was the boy baker, but I'm seeing that people beginning to doubt that actual boy baker. So we need to wait there. Which of the bakers?
Right, and even if it's
I
if that's
think
that,
it's
there's no.
the security apparatus
there's no
gonna
intent.
investigate
Yeah.
that. And I thank the U.S. government for at least supporting Liberian security apparatus for this thing. Thank you so kindly.
Thank you so much. We can take two more calls and then move on. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, your name, where you calling from?
Yeah, this is Emmanuel Richardson, and I joined the conversation from Upper Carwell.
Yeah, Emmanuel, go ahead.
Yeah, they want to make this clear. President Weah, when he elected for President Weah, did not take shock to the presidency. And we are clear to everyone. We, the ordinary people who voted President Weah, we are on an obligation to protect him. So if anybody see or think that you can come here and see you can chase President Weah all year, we are prepared to defend President Weah. We are so our blood with everything that God gave us. We are not afraid. If you think you can win all, let's go to the battle back. But if you think otherwise,
No, we have not come. We have not come to that.
yes, sir, but no, we don't want to send it down.
I understand the caveat, but we yeah.
President Weah is our all. For some of us,
Yeah.
we live our life down for President Weah.
And that's the thing. He means so much to different people. Yeah. So
Thank you very much. Thank
it's
you.
yeah. Thank you so much. You know, there was an analysis that was done that I saw, and I thought it was quite informed. You know, somebody was saying, why we see the opposition leaders, mounting their vehicles and all of the time seeming to criticize President Weah because he engages ordinary people in, street soccer matches or goes to their community. They criticize him, but they don't associate with ordinary people. They stay in their posh vehicles and move around the place. So he was talking about, he said, well, you see, you may criticize the people that support him and think they don't know what they're doing. But President Weah understands his people. This is what we call identity politics, according to that narrative that I saw. He said, this is identity politics. So you see President Weah beat drums with his people. He plays street soccer match. He goes in the community. He plays volleyball with them. He goes to the different slum communities. Some of the times, say to the people, the last time he was in Nimba, he was eating, how do they call it, roasted cassava from the side of the road and stuff like that. People get connected to this. They feel connected. They feel he's relatable, to them. That this is something that I can do myself. Oh, but the president doing it too. The president eating cassava, roasted cassava, this and that. And so that means so much to an ordinary person seeing the president do that. So when you see how passionate they feel about him, how they love him, coming from the kind of destitute life that he lived before, the way he was stricken in poverty, roaming the slums of Monrovia, and then rose to becoming the best soccer player, the president of his country. That is something a lot of people marvel at. They love him for that. They admire him. And he means so much to them. So when you hear that guy say, if you try him, we'll have it, that's exactly the feelings in these slum communities, in the urban areas, amongst first-time voters.
But God, these
people,
will criticize President Weah when he sings.
Mm-hmm.
When he dances,
Yes.
they criticize him. but they leave from here and go to other places in Tanzania to the extent that they can't use their dance good, they want to fall in floor.
I know, eh?
They say, oh, he likes to play football.
No, he said, man left dancing buka, but then you go, you party into the same music, then you want to fall out of the
You to the floor, because you don't usually have the energy. These guys, they want to do things the president is doing, but they can't just do them. And that's it. Because there's nothing wrong with anybody dancing. There's nothing. Which one of the presidents in the world that have talent will not use his talent?
I know. Anyway, so let's get back to so we're talking about the state of our democracy. I just wanted to thank all of the people that have been making all the different strides. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Liberia National Police, the Ministry of Justice. I understand that they've all worked towards, with our counterparts in ensuring that all of this. This bus was made, and we prevented this from going on the market, within the public that would have posed quite a danger, to the general citizenry. But the police on yesterday did say that they're making efforts to ensure that whoever the culprit is, that person is extradited. That was the first, that's the first intent of the National Police. But then they also said, if the documentation and all of the different processes becomes a little cumbersome, because some of the times when the person becomes a citizen of that country, it is a problem.
Yeah. Somebody talk about extradition and all of that.
So the police were saying, well, we also make sure that person is prosecuted wherever they are.
And mind you, Boyka, we have to tread here very carefully. Police have not established intent.
Yes.
This could be a boy baker who just want to make money. You understand?
Yeah.
From this could be a boy baker as well who maybe he want to take someone out. Like I said, those weapons are surgical weapons.
And the police talk about sniper-like weapons
Right.
that target people from
Right.
afar.
From afar.
He even talk about the fact that somebody can sit on top of
3
the
football field size.
the police station and then target somebody on Broad Street.
Right. So there's a lot happening, and until the person, the person who shipped these weapons, and what they're for, as they try to connect all these little dots, we just have to be careful as to how we thread, and especially somebody spoke about a thorough investigation. One of your colors, that let the customs go through their investigation painstakingly. But then we got to know yesterday that from the Arms Commission guy that they're having a problem with scanner. One of the major things.
So somebody came on yesterday and said, this is not the thing. Conclusively said, definitively, that it's not even possible. How is it that these things will pass through a U.S. port? Well, the counter to that, the other person said was, the U.S., like it is for all ports around the place, they don't do search of all containers that are being loaded to ships. According to him, I got no way of verifying this.
And
he said they do random searches.
Yeah, and based on destination.
And based on destination.
Million. How will you?
Yeah, so they do. It's going to slow down things. Yeah.
Right.
So they do random searches. He said that's how you see some of the times cars are smuggled out of the U.S. and sold here.
Yeah.
There's been instances where the U.S. said they're chasing a car, that was brought here and then sold on the Liberian market.
But what they're doing now, with those kind of cars now, especially Ghana is one of the major places. Most of those cars go, and then some come here as well. But the thing is, they have this sync system where you could just lock the car from the U.S. and it just become a dot. You can't use it, nowadays. That's what.
And so we had a drug bust under similar circumstances where the drug left from ports in Southern America and other places before coming to Liberia. So one would have argued, say, how come these things happen? Because these were sophisticated ports as well. So, but they managed their way to Liberia. So there is a possibility. Because the thing is, it's not that they start these arms. Like some of the networks we're talking about, 450 pieces of them onto a container. Obviously, that's going to create some visibility issues. It's going to be clearly seen and detected. But in this case, we should stress that the police said 15. 15 pieces of weapon. But he said they were high-grade military-style weapon that could create instability if they get into the wrong hands. And so these things, as we suspect, were dismantled. into different pieces, and then probably placed in a container
And what was
in
so-
different boxes and all of
What,
that.
what was so scary and Barker were the ammunitions
Yes.
that was that came along.
Yeah.
They shipped ammunition that had no weapons. So where are those weapons? Are they on their way? Let's see. And they're even asking, according to what we got, that container will asked to, be sent back to the U.S.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, suffice to say that yesterday the police director did thank the U.S. for their support. That's as far as he went.
Yeah.
And I don't think, intelligence-wise and for the sake of cooperation and all of that, he's not going to let, for obvious reasons, a lot out of the bag.
Yeah.
And that was sufficient on yesterday.
Yeah.
I think that's the best thing to do, because
Yeah.
if you don't do that, you will actually, kill your own investigation.
Yeah.
A lot of things you want to get, you will not get them.
Yeah.
But the collaboration is good.
And somebody asked about BVAC. It is important to note now that BVAC was
They used to do
a lot of
pre-shipment
people,
inspection.
right, and a lot of that gave a lot of ordinary Liberian businessmen a tough time, shipping to
double
the
inspecting
household.
them, yeah.
Then you end up in Demore
Yeah.
and all of that. You don't have the kind of money to pay for to clear, and then you for storage, and you have to be at APM terminal
Yeah.
to go clear and all of that. So now it's no more pre-inspection, stuff is post now.
So we just want to move on from that story to something completely different. But we just want to call on all of you listening to this story to start doubting, because there's been no instances of that in the last couple of more than a decade. We've had a thriving democracy, and nobody's going to attempt to put up Trump up charges on some of the narratives you heard in the different political space. They've drawn parallels to some of the things that happened with Flanzaminton and all of that. Well, the police were definitive on yesterday when they said they've had no connection so far with any of the political actors in the country, any of the political parties and what have you.
Yeah.
As much as he admitted that some of the comments coming from some of the political actors are reckless, and they're going to be maybe pursuing some of them, but they got no connection so far with the state of the investigation. So far, so far. So there's a possibility that these things could evolve, but so far they got no connection with any of the political actors. So it's just
why would the police come up with any connection when they haven't the main suspect? They haven't
spoken with him.
Right.
So it's just foolhardy for anybody to come up, and it's sort of, you wonder what is that person wanting to achieve, and just disparage the whole investigation. Oh, this is a lie. This is a blood. Come on now. So the drug bust is true, but the arms catch is a lie. Other things that when you peddle is true, but then the other stuff are lies.
But we should not just look at what they are saying as just rubbish.
Yeah.
But probably they know what they are saying. Maybe he didn't.
Yeah,
know
but because some of the times you wonder why did the person
understand?
start rushing up and
to say this and
to say
that.
yeah,
Maybe you know where the investigation will end. If you are guilty, you are guilty. If you maybe have something on your sleeves, you're adding, and you look at something happening, you know exactly what you're going to.
Yeah.
Right.
This is what I said earlier, that the only person who's very careful with the Kasali is the one who has a
Who
goat.
owns a goat? Yeah, and it is.
Let's move on.
Like what you said, the police. There's nobody yet that they've spoken to besides Barbara rather.
Yeah.
And she's been very cooperative according to the police, and they have another kid in their custody and the consignee as well.
Anyway, so let's move on. We talked already about the fact that the president visited his the former president on yesterday. That was quite wonderful. But I also want to talk about something that came up on the radio this week, which I thought was a big lie, and we did our best on our own platform to sort of clarify that information. So Liberia did pretty much, very well on the Millennium Challenge scorecard this for 2023. They could put in the previous or the other year, and they say for this time, they did very well. In fact, that's the best Liberia has ever achieve 12 out of 20 school, you have to have the median of 10 to in order to pass and what have you. And then Liberia got past the threshold level in 2013 and then got full compact. Threshold will be the small grant that you will get for meeting setting benchmarks as far as governance is concerned. And then compact will be the last scale grant. Liberia got $257 million under that. So there's been a couple of maybe 24 countries that benefited so far under this whole Millennium Challenge, and there are 50 or so in Africa. So some of the times when people meet the democratic benchmarks, the U.S. will see them and say, well, we need to do X, Y, and Z for this country. So we've been clamoring for a second compact. The standards for that is sort of higher because we've already benefited before, even though we're making the case. Some of the pundits are beginning to suggest, these are people out of the government saying, maybe the people look and say, yeah, Liberia did well. In fact, we're doing way better, but maybe there's going to be sort of a political advantage to the incumbent president if we gave him such large-scale project within an election year and all of that. So those are some of the considerations, apparently. But then for this political actor to come on the radio, there was the former, the talk show host who was running for the Senate seat in Montserrat, Henry Costa, to make the insinuation on one of his platform, on one of the interviews, that Sierra Leone did so much better than Liberia to the extent they're gaining compact and they're going to be benefiting from large scale grant, a large amount of money. And you're saying right here in Sierra Leone, so authoritatively,
So it's no
right
more
here
Ghana,
in Sierra Leone.
no more Ghana again.
Yeah, so Sierra Leone right here benefiting. And all of that, and Liberia didn't get it. Sierra Leone right here benefiting, and Liberia didn't get it. So, the host was cautious enough and said, well, we're going to do our own fact checking. So, I did my own fact checking and saw that was absolutely not the case. Sierra Leone didn't benefit from compact. Sierra Leone, not one of the countries that was selected for compact. As a matter of fact, during the U.S. Africa Summit on Democracy. So there were 4 countries that were selected, and those countries are the Gambia, Togo, Senegal, and Mauritania. Gambia and Togo were getting their first compact, and Senegal are getting their first regional compact, for the region to encourage interconnectivity within the region. And then Mauritania was getting a threshold. They're not even full compact, the one Liberia achieved in 2015. Sierra Leone was not one of those countries that was selected. Sierra Leone instead was reselected. By the way, Sierra Leone has been selected 3 times for compact development. 2019 was selected for compact development. 2020 was selected for compact development. They've been reselected again for compact development. And the development is the various phases you have to go through, identify your constraints and all of those, and the way to fix them. Like Liberia did, we identified the constraints of developing in Liberia, say roles and energy. So you had to go through the different processes, writing a proposal to the MCC board, and they had to validate that and all of that. So that's what they call compact development. It's far different from achieving a compact any money. So that was a lie. For anybody to come on the radio and say, so you're making X, Y, and Z is going to be getting this money and Liberia is not, that's just a bold-faced lie. Firstly, Sierra Leone has never gotten a compact before. Liberia has, so Liberia has made progress. Sierra Leone just finished a $44 million, threshold program, which is a smaller something. Liberia got away in 2013. So, when people want to make comparison, initially they always come out and say, oh, look at Liberia doing well, Sierra Leone doing well. Look at Ghana, Liberia doing well, Ghana doing well. Because Ghana is struggling now economically, so they want to go back to Sierra Leone. So I just wanted to put that out, Kwame.
Yeah, and what we say, and in the U.S. you said I gave that 10 Pinocchios, yeah, and that's not true.
That's not true.
But the thing is, Boakai, the same person who said that Ghana economy, everything was Ghana, and recently came back and said that look at we have to be honest. Liberian economy is doing well, and then his people, went back at him and all of that. It is good to always put out the facts, and the Chinese will say seek the truth out of the facts. you know.
So this week the president also, and we should give this to Solo. This week the president also visited some development project, but we should talk specifically about the PHP Unity Park that is being developed. Tell us about the visit this week, Solo.
Well, basically, like you said, the president firstly, before going to the PHP, something very unusual. The president drove to the executive mansion, went to every office, every office there to greet his staff and wish them a prosperous 2023.
Oh wow!
Some people could not even believe it. I saw the lady who knelt there and started to cry.
Wow.
Her president could walk to her office and to say Happy New Year. That could carry us everywhere.
He has that effect on people. You know, when he's in their presence, you know, Ghana people
Like
adore
I
him.
mean, every office, even to the security gate entrance, it wished them Happy New Year. And then he went to this facility that he's building right at PHP. They call it Sports for Development.
Yeah.
You know, this is the president who struggled. He didn't go to any sports academy. He didn't have anywhere to play besides going on the ball. He had fees and stuff to do that. So those things he went through, he doesn't want ordinary Liberians to go through that. So he read some facilities to help people recreate, to help people, even the older one, to exercise. So he's building this facility at PHP. Of course, you have almost the same thing you have like
The Invincible Park.
the Invincible Park
It's
will
gonna
be
be,
there.
Unity.
But then you have other station bikes to ride, to exercise.
Oh
and
wow!
what have you.
So it's going to be open to the public. You can
Yeah, it's
just
going
go
to be
Yeah.
open to the public.
Yeah.
They will even have some mini shops there where you'll be able to buy some souvenirs and the things from
wow.
the Liberian society. I mean, cultural relevance.
Artifacts, yeah.
Yeah, those things will be there that people can purchase. So you want to see, because normally when you visit these things, is energizes those guys who are doing the work.
Right.
It speed up the process. And I don't know, but in like 6 months, Baka, you couldn't see what that place would look like, because he's giving it a timeline. He want that project to be dedicated as soon as possible.
Oh wow!
But I think in 6 months, would have gone maybe 80 to 90% of that.
Yeah, and I spoke to the PDU head, Chokon Kui, Minister Kui, and he said, I think they're looking at September. They're looking at around there, and the level of work that has been carried out at that particular unity, I think it's a low unity park or whatever, but I think there's a unity to it. It tells you that this president. But so look, guess what? This gone New Year's Day, I went to this sports park, and I saw the videos there. I saw kids skating and the children. You know, the only park on New Year's Day they went to was the one, with the Chinese right at the little place there.
Where?
There's this little piece of little green grass thing right next to the Enfield Boulevard Junction right there.
Oh yeah.
Even people.
Is that a park?
That's how they used to call it. I mean, if you didn't have nothing,
Yes, a lot of people that
Just take pictures. Yeah.
take pictures
right,
in their wedding.
right. But that thing now is obsolete. No one goes there
Nope.
again. And look,
All
man,
roads leads to the
to the
Invincible
Invincible
No,
Park.
I think Chevron has some sort of park they built right to right when you cross the bridge. You remember that thing?
Yeah.
They say they spend hundreds of millions. I mean, hundreds of thousands on it. Anyway,
So after that visit, the president decided to, talk to the media and tell them his dream, exactly what he envisaged for Liberia.
Okay.
He always said he wants to replicate things he see in other countries that beautify the country, that help people to live long. Like you have some of the facilities in Senegal, in Monaco, and he was telling people that, well, for now, the beginning, the starting point is Monrovia. But Monrovia is not Liberia. It means those things will be replicated in our countries.
All
as
over.
time
Yeah.
goes by.
All
Yeah.
over.
You see, like, people are wondering why that hospital in Bapulu, why it's not in Monrovia. Of course, those people need that facility too.
Bapolo people don't get sick.
don't
People
have
in
it.
the
they
West.
said the only cheap Jalalong hospital down there in that region.
Yeah, you saw it?
We did a
I didn't see it.
Go see what it looked like, but
Yeah.
nobody
It was
wants to
just
talk about it now.
yeah.
Everybody is the Emirates Hospital, And were you there in Bapolo? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you know, we were going that morning, and then something happened for which I couldn't go along.
Yeah.
The foreign minister.
So you get Oka. Tell the thing. You get
The
Oka.
foreign minister from
I don't get car, you get
UAE.
Oka.
The foreign minister from UAE. Look at the president and smile, and when you want to make a speech, you show the president Liberians. You know that Bapolo Hospital is just the beginning of several to come.
Wow.
And this guy, when they speak the word. Whatever they say and what they do. So the president was not surprised because he know exactly the decision he said he made then not to continue to play for the citizens at Manchester City.
Yeah.
Not to continue to play in Monaco or Marseille, but go to play for Al Jazeera.
Oh yeah, he said Liberia was reaping the dividends of some of the decision he made.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
he said when his services were still needed, when he was still at the top of his career, playing in Europe, when his services were still sought after, he made a decision to go to Qatar to play for Al Jazeera. I mean, UAE to play for the Al Jazeera
in
club
Dubai,
in Dubai. So, and he said that was made because of the personal friendship he had with the current leader now of
Who's
the
now the
UAE,
president.
who's now the president of the UAE. But he said, well, you can see some of the dividends as a result of that decision that I made. So I'm glad that some of the times you said you don't chase material things, but you do it out of your connection with people.
And the chief of protocol there in the UAE is someone who used to hold the president boots when he went to Al Jazeera, when he went for practice. And the president encouraged, look, you can also play if you want to play. Because sometimes when you are playing, you see some guys on the side, exercising playing, and the president saw certain thing. And the president encouraged him, and he also played along the president before he left the team. So he made friends, and friends appreciating a whole lot. So, I mean, Liberians can rest assured they will see more. Although people say he's not doing anything, of course. Yes, he's happy that he's not
No,
doing
the
anything.
people that are saying that,
Some.
that the opposition, and obviously you expect them to get, because they're looking for means to get elected.
Well,
But let me tell you a number of people that appreciate President Weah. You know, the people in the slums of Liberia, the people that are downtrodden, the people living in urban centers, the students whose fees are paid for WIAC, the first-time voters, the disadvantaged youth. These are people that appreciate, and of course, people in the civil service. Some people in the civil service. And
Right,
all
you
of
have
that.
people way up there also.
Yeah,
as
people
well.
way up
Yeah.
there also.
Cut across.
He cuts across all of that. But everybody got their base now. So
Yeah,
the
yeah,
base I'm
yeah,
talking about.
Yeah, you're right.
So, Babaka, look at this man they call George Weah. People say he didn't know book, right? So, in the Liberian setting, most Liberians have their crab mentality. Since I can't go to school, the person should not go to school. But the man said they know book. When you're playing football, you have annually 400% scholarship at the University of Liberia. That the same people today who say he's not educated, he doesn't know this, that the same people he sent to school. So, how do you consider such a man? And still to come, tomorrow is Saturday, right?
Yeah.
The president, some time ago we launched this program for the at-risk youth. The first batch of 32 will be graduating along the Boston Road. So it tells you the president's commitment to help our quote-unquote the Zogos taken from the street. They are gradually being rehabilitated. And after this group, another batch will be trained. So following the graduation, they will go through another training program that will give them back their dignity, pull them back and make them more useful in society. These are the things this young man is doing, but people say he's doing nothing. So, he's happy, he's doing nothing, but at least he's making Liberian people happy.
Yeah.
He's doing nothing, he's building the streets, he's doing nothing, he's sending them to school.
Yeah.
Free, of course. He's doing nothing, but he's meeting their needs.
I know.
So when time comes, people will know who's doing something and who is not doing nothing.
Anyway, so let's move on. Let's talk about, this week, something came out from the Ukrainian media, and that was the information that President Zelensky the Ukrainian president, who's become a hero in the West and internationally. You know, as a matter of fact, he was just given a heroic welcome by the U.S. Congress about a week or so ago. You know, so he congratulated, firstly has thanked Liberia along with a few other countries. I think it's France. Firstly, the Prime Minister of Cambodia was honored by was that Cambodia or Colombia? In one of the two South American countries. But yeah,
Cambodia.
was
I saw Cambodia.
Cambodia. Okay, yeah, was honored by the Ukrainian president, and then the foreign ministers of three countries: Norway, Liberia, and France. Those foreign ministers were also honored, given the highest. In fact, in our own case, D. Maxwell Kemea was given the highest honor by the Ukrainian, one of the highest honor by Ukrainian leadership. That was because they say of the level of support and the role that Liberia has played, but also specifically Minister Kemea in Ukraine's fight against Russia. You know, Liberia is one of the few countries that stood firstly at the United Nations to condemn Russia's invasion. One of the few African countries where the other African people are sort of hesitant, talking about they wanted the infamous of them abstain and all of that. They pursue the principle of non-interference. But Liberia were pursuing the rule, international, how do you call it? Rule-based approach to international engagements and all of that. So that was the position that Liberia pursued a couple of months back, very early on during the crisis in Ukraine. Liberia supported the U.S. government position, and that has been the case ever since. And Minister Kemea has been pursuing the Liberian position, and so he got this honor from the Ukrainian president. So that was quite a development, guys.
Yeah. What's happening to my mic? Yeah, thank you so much. Like you spoke about that, Liberia is, partner to most of these agreements, that have been signed by the UN.
Mm-hmm.
And most people look at Liberia today. I had an argument with a couple of students. That's not an argument, it was a discussion. And I asked them, do you know who President Tolbert is? And they didn't know. They were in the 20s, 2021, around there. And this tells you the level of work that we need to do, in telling our own story as a country. Because when it comes to diplomacy and some of the things that Liberia has done for other countries around here, she championed the cause of so many countries' independence. She stood against, tyrannic and despotic regimes, took these kind of votes and all of that, even in spite of all that, the relationship, with Xi and China and all of that. They were honest. They said, look, we're friends, we're partner, we respect the one China policy, but hey, work on your human rights. And, and we've been always like this in this particular position.
Yeah.
And so when you see the likes of coming in, getting these kinds of awards, and Zelensky now is this the darling of the West.
Yeah.
And for him to have recognized a little Liberia tells you, what this country is all
And actually, the country that they recognized firstly was Cambodia, the Prime Minister of Cambodia, and that's a country in Asia.
Mm-hmm.
So Colombia is in South America. Yeah, but let's hear from Solo.
Well, some of these people, look, you have to know your friends.
I know.
When your friend is wrong, you tell your friend you are wrong, and when your friend is there for you, also be there for them.
Mm-hmm.
And that what Liberia has been doing so far, and under this president, is not going to be the one to go against our traditional allies.
I know.
Because Liberia is one of the countries in the world that signed most of the agreement at the UNGA or at the United Nations. And so to be able to protect what you sign, you have to be there at all times for it. And this is what Liberia continues to exhibit. And Kemea, of course, was at the United Nations as Liberia permanent rep before coming to serve as foreign minister, so he knows all of these things.
Yeah.
He's been pushing them as well. So I think he deserves that honor. It's honor actually.
Plus, we should also state that one of the things that we did see from Minister Kameh doing the last couple of weeks is the fact that he was in Washington with the president, met President Biden along with the president, met the U.S. Secretary of State. In fact, they did have a picture together. Mm-hmm. So that just invalidates all the different lies and false narratives you've heard from the folks in Liberia. They've been peddling. The man can go to America. And then the man went, he said the man can go to America. Then later on, when the man went to the U.S., he said the man can pass 25-mile radius. The man went from New York to Washington, D.C. You're there. Follow the president, obviously, to Florida. Then they say again, no, but then the man can meet Biden. And then the man Biden had a really, wonderful time together, including the U.S. Secretary of State. I mean, so then they remain quiet. That's the thing about these lies. They peddle them when we discount them and disprove them, they go quiet. Nobody will say anything again. And then they expect, they know that some members of the public will be gullible. They will believe the first one and forget to listen to new updates. And so we're giving you the updates so that these people, firstly, they lied, not just on the whole Liberian government delegation. They said the president could not go to a certain place and all of that. The president went there. The president and his team. Come on now. Why would the president of a nation, and first they said the president was hassled at JFK, all those lies.
I mean,
the president is only going to the leadership forum.
Yeah.
You will not have the time to meet Biden. When you met Biden, you say, oh, it's just because of the election.
Yeah.
Just because of the elections. We're having from now to 2024, there'll be almost like 25 countries having elections.
And some of the friends, some of the friends told them, said, man, the optics is not good for you guys at the opposition to see that, and you could see the photo, that selfie, smashed everything. But Bwarka, in diplomacy, you have sports diplomacy, you have so many other stuff. You will find another president go and play golf, or they go in some other place, and the kind of discussions that are held there, the president is not some president who will just go out there just talk like that. So there is a lot.
And one of the
time, you talk about to watch a soccer match together, that's 90 minutes. Within 90 minutes, the president knows, what to strike.
I know.
Right.
For which they became very, they were jovial and other stuff.
And the Oval Office, that's the highest.
And you know what? One of the things I don't understand, before Solo comes in, is the fact that 6 of these leaders were invited. And that was immediately after President Biden gave his speech to the business forum. He spoke at the business forum. Immediately after that, there should have been the dinner in the evening. But before the dinner, he called these 6 leaders aside. Now, I heard some of the guys trying to discount and say, oh, but come on now, you went to America, you're supposed to meet the hosts and what have you. No, but there were several presidents, about 49 heads of delegations. Only 6 were called to meet President Biden. Now you argue, say, but these are people holding elections. Come on, there were more than 10. I can name them. Benin, Central African Republic, Comoros, Cote d'Ivoire, Djibouti, Egypt, Gabon, Ghana, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Libya, Madagascar, Mali, Mauritania, Mozambique, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Somaliland, South Sudan, Swaziland, Togo, and Zimbabwe. All of these countries are holding elections.
Well, there are 29 countries holding elections.
All of these countries are holding presidential elections.
Presidential and
parliamentary
elections. From now
in
to
2023.
2024.
Yeah.
Only 6 went there.
Only 6.
Then you say, because they're having elections.
And also, only 12 presidents out of the 49 attending spoke with President Biden. President Weah was the first.
But
so
sometimes I sit down and wonder, who in their rifle mind will always pray for bad things for their own country? Because any representation Judge you have made to the U.S., to Biden, or to any other president is for Liberia, it's not for himself. Mm-hmm. So why will you always want negative thing for your country? Mm-hmm. Why?
Yeah.
That is not politics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's evil.
They do that, so that they can gain something. That's the only way. It's mudsling. Pray for some disaster to happen. Even if you give these guys a chance, they want some earthquake or landslide or something to happen under this president's watch. So that
But really, that's a fact.
I'm being honest.
There might be some hoping for that. Maybe it will just make him unpopular before October 10.
If it happens, we
In
shall
the-
follow.
in
It
the-
never
in-
happened. That's
in-
natural disaster.
In the U.S., they said the October surprise.
Yeah.
Hoping that before, but there will be the September surprise.
Yeah.
That something bad should happen. That will cause the people to say, no, we're not voting for this party, though you're on top of the polls. So they go and they need something like that. They pray. Look at the situation that happened yesterday. Who will ever think that, okay, what this thing ties nobody yet, but they saw it, it's there. People ship containers and barrels and all this stuff. Poor innocent girl, she could be poor and innocent, she could be, an accomplice, but from what from what the police told us yesterday, they're carrying out the investigation.
Yeah.
But why would anybody in fact say, oh no, that's not true?
Yeah.
Nothing-
Well, even firstly, you haven't even ascertained from the police the state of the investigation, who's involved, what are they doing, what arms were discovered. You just run to
start
Facebook
crying,
and say, they're not true. It's sort of, it's just strange.
Indeed.
It is strange. And, one of the last things I wanted to talk about, I think I saw the media this week talking about two things. And this is beyond some of the development we can talk about as far as the president is concerned, but this is political actions, things happening in the political field as we in the lead up to 2020. We're in 2023 now, right?
Yeah.
In the lead up to October. Two of them. One of them is the fact that Yumli Kanga he gave her end of the year speech, and in that it would seem like she was crying out to be picked by the Unity Party, because she said, well, I've listened to all the polls have been putting me forward, and if I'm selected and all
Who
of
says that?
So sort of that's the kind of thing she was saying.
Is it like Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
So,
Pick me.
So it seems as if Joseph Barker has a dilemma now, because in some of the pictures we've seen him hanging out with Ben and Ayuri, there's been other concerns about whether he's going to pick this guy from Bond County, the senator from Bond County. No, not Topa. No. Anyway, we'll get to the name, but So
And I'm hearing he's going to pick Yaka as well.
that would be suicidal. But
Why you say that?
That would be suicidal.
Why you say that?
Yeah, so that's and that's the same dilemma he was faced with before the 2017 October election. So he's going to be faced with similar dilemma, and so other than beginning to clamor, if you notice, Prince Moy is the person I was talking about. So other than beginning to clamor, so if you notice now, some of the times, just notice if you see you were with Bwaka, you wouldn't see Yumli around there. If you see Yumbli's, with Bwaka, where there was a case in Buchanan, Ure wouldn't be around there. So he has a major dilemma to deal with as we speak, because there are different variables that is being studied, and I don't think we should try to help them. But we just wanted to talk about the level of indecisiveness.
You saw that headlines from FBA, a local daily, that he doesn't want to make the mistake they made, to pick a running mate in the 11th hour.
Yeah.
And up to now they don't have one, because people will have to start to identify. I'm giving them free tips, so I'll stop.
And the thing about it is that so some other people beginning to have some objections to some of the things beginning to happen. We see Ure and his folks hanging around Bwaka quite a lot. It's made some of the Bwaka people themselves a little bit wary because uneasy because they're kind of calculating about what happened in 2017. So Costa, for instance, was one of the person who vehemently opposed Joe Bwaka, and he did so up to the 11th hour. If I heard our votes, so to see him around is made some to the extent you can see people like the likes of Giddens and other things sort of
start questioning his.
First, Giddens is also running for the Senate. He's made that clear. So I don't know who Unity Party are going to put forward. No, anyway, I think Costa's going to be running the ALP ticket. But who's the UP going to back? But he's also gone beyond that and make some inferences to the kind of person that should be chosen and all of that. So you see, there's growing friction within the ranks of
Everything these guys touch, turns to.
They're not coming out to say it, but it's there.
Yeah.
But honestly, don't be surprised if Waka go ahead and take a call about it. I mean, he's a politician, he's a representative. He has to pay,
But mind you, they allow that's what I hate to use the word elites, but that's what these guys they will do. They push you to do their dirty laundry and all of that. And once they grab what they have to grab, that's when you're going to feel it, because now you know more, then it becomes a class warfare.
Yeah.
No, don't bring that man next to me, and then you will not be able to enter into your dream executive mansion.
And then the other story that I wanted to talk about before we open the lines is, FPA, we talk about FPA, brought up something about the possibility of we are winning first round. You saw that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they were looking at the different narratives, and obviously the opposition people were saying, that is foolhardy. I think the Unity Party standard bearer chairman was even saying, if that happened, it means the election was rigged and all of that. But they're failing to realize that a couple of things that were present, a couple of factors that were present in 2017 that are not present now
in 2023.
In 2023, President Weah amalgamated a major coalition that hasn't really broken off. I mean, it's been strong. They've had some issues with leaders of their own party, but they've not questioned the leadership of the head of the coalition. That remains intact.
Yeah.
Unlike the opposition folks have been questioning who's supposed to lead the ticket, who's not supposed to lead the ticket, for which they've broken off.
To the point where they were putting road tiffy behind Cummings.
Yeah.
Some of
can you imagine the poor coming on president's bench,
Yeah, their own. They call him a liar. They call him a forger.
Yeah.
I mean, the fraud. I mean, they malign this dude in a kind of a way
the leader of the Bassa Belt. And the Bassa Belt in the Liberian politics, that Riverses, that Grand Bassa County, that parts of Magibi and parts of Monserrado. The leader of the Bassa Belt is not there again.
No way.
Yombly doesn't fill that void.
No.
At all. I mean, she barely appeals to the votes in Grand Bassa itself. But winning only by a couple of hundred votes against Bezonga Finley. So the leader of the Bassa Belt is not running for president. Plus, the Liberty Party not put it in by the 4th. So George Weah is the candidate for president with the most connection to the Bassa Belt.
And even with that disrespect to Charlene and
exactly.
her father's legacy.
Plus, Senator, the leader of Nimba County, who successfully flipped Nimba 2 sides in 2 elections based on who he supports personally, is not in the race. Senator Prince Johnson, he's not going to be running for president. Senator Johnson came third during the last. He even came before, how they call him, Cummings.
Yeah.
Cummings?
Yeah.
Always at 2%.
Yeah.
7, please. Don't give him 2. It's a 7.
So those 2 factors, those 2 people not in the race. Plus, there's going to be, nobody wants to remain in opposition for another 6 years. So the guy's going to study the political dynamics and say, my man, the thing I'm looking at, look at Joe, we are going to win. I'm going to say opposition again. The men will start flipping. Listen, I gave you a couple of months. People will start making declarations of support. You will be surprised.
Of course, because you don't want to come late.
They don't think that Joshua will win. They know Joshua will win. You understand? They know people that are going to win a second term. Plain shit. And that's it. So I think before we open the lines, it's something I just want to talk about. President Weah yesterday issued 2 executive orders.
Okay.
Firstly, he issued 130 lifting tariff on rice because to have the new price for the rice, there was some backing that was done. You heard the importers were demanding up to $22, and some of the demands that were talked about, they're going to appeal to them. And so this tariff, they are not going to be paying certain taxes on rice importation. So that Executive Order issued yesterday. And also,
state that again?
To have the new price of rice now, the $17, or say $7.50.
Yeah.
There was some negotiations, and asking government to waive certain rice so that we'll have this price that we have. So the government is living up to our commitment, and that executive order 113 was issued yesterday.
Okay.
Another one that was issued was 114, establishing what you call West African Police Information Service was issued yesterday, which means that a post like was in line to some connection with the Interpol.
Okay.
And that was issued late yesterday. So basically, I just want to let the people know that the president has issued 2 executive
Maybe we can
orders.
even utilize a second in this particular case with the guns, right? With the Interpol thing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's open the lines. Call us on 080-514-096. We just need to put this number on something. 080-514-096, 088-514-096, or 086-561-537, 086-561-537. Those are the different numbers. If you want to participate on our program this morning, you can call us. Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you. Baga, thank you very much for the opportunity. Let me say a pleasant good morning to you. Good morning to all of the panelists.
Okay. Good morning.
My name is Paul, and I joined you from District Number 2, Jacobtown.
Okay.
I haven't listened to all of the talking points, but I have two interesting one that has to do with the animations that were going our country.
Okay.
And I followed the press conference yesterday, and I think the police did exceptionally well and were excellent on the perfection of career. That is, what I want to say is this. We as a public, as ordinary as we are not security apparatus, not investigators. So I always encourage the opposition and the winning positions that we give the police the chance to investigate the undermining the investigations. Because I follow social media and other platforms, people are not assuming that opposition brought the gun in the country. Secondly, case has not said on one of the sister programs said it was opposition who brought the gun in the country. I think it undermined the investigation of the investigators. And that is wrong. I think we should stop this kind of thing. You understand?
Okay.
This is a security matter that could threaten our country. I say I was sitting in my corner when I saw the video. I was getting as young as I am. I've no experience war. You understand? So we will not see this kind of thing regardless of our differences in politics. But my power is everywhere.
How young are you?
All of us, let us stop the undermining of the investigation.
How young are you? Hello? He's gone. I mean, you see, I just wanted to just make a case. You see the number of people that have never experienced war before?
Yeah.
They've never seen it.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Yeah. Hello.
Good morning. Your name, where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. This is Peter Carter from Bayville.
Peter, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to say good morning to all of you. The only thing I want to say is that I like the word solo youth.
Okay.
The person is not doing anything but he's sending your children to school. He's paying your children school fees. He's not doing anything but he's paying the road.
I know.
He's not doing anything but all of these things that he's doing. Sure, you say he's not doing anything.
I know.
So what you want the person to do now?
What do you now? What do you want him to do?
What do you want him to do now? You must get himself before you know that he is the president doing something. That's one thing I want to stress. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Peter. Let's take more callers. Good morning. Oh, Mama, you can listen to the. Oh no, the guy listening to the mic to the funny. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, you're listening to the Facebook. Your name, where are you calling from?
Okay. Mr. Porto, call from Vocal Mission.
How is Vocal Mission too?
Yeah, fine.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, I want to commend you guys for a while. Georgia explained. You see, those people, the opposition, the imposition that want to lead the country, as they are saying, they want to fool on that they love this country. But I want to tell you that they don't love this country. It started after the 2017 election when Georgia and that of Joseph Baca left in the race for the runoff. They were they pulled together and started to have, and that CPP started to go from court to court and how they cheated them. And they forgot to know, say, what they were going from court to court, the citizens were punished for that because there was no peace. And
and mind you, somebody that you think that you love, then there was no cheating. You said there was cheating. You started going here and there. After the phone, I see people, you decided to go against Georgia. A long time it started because they're thinking that Georgia couldn't be.
Yeah.
It can't be president. Then, unfortunately, they say man proposed and God disposed. And what they were planning, it never materialized. They got there to conclude somebody case that who the person one for the person is for the person.
Yeah.
They want to start there. And
Seeking
now,
for
look
fair.
at the kind of thing that president we are then doing within in a 5 year, almost 1 year plus for with coronavirus, that affected the whole world, that made things to be expensive. And the next struggle within that 1 year plus, and the next civil service, people were sitting home, and then they were supplying them with food.
Yeah.
And then look at all the development, the hand marking, all of the 15 counties.
I know.
You need to watch telling all people, the two times when I went to Grand Bank, and other time I said, well, asking, I said, well, they may not help you directly, but you help you indirectly in the sense that.
Most of them said that directly. But thank you, man. We got to move on. Let's move on. Good morning. Good morning.
That's
Your name, where are you calling from? Hello, Political Magistrate too?
Yeah. Good morning, Honorable Minister.
Yeah.
Good morning to Dr. Kwame with the Presidential President, Honorable Asuru Kevin, and good morning to the Conscious Man Liberia.
Good morning.
I call for the most talk about what happened in the room this morning. Let me appreciate the team for all of the talking points. Once more, happy, prosperous New Year. Thank God we are allowed to be part of the second victory Vice Excellency President George Manu. We have come October this year. The president doing extremely well. I think judging from the issue of the Baburu hospital was just dedicated by the president, the issue of road connectivity from our taxpayer money. We want to encourage our citizens that remain focused and desist from violence. Let me also appreciate the National Security Apparatus for putting that situation under control for the National Police Authorities. I think our security on top of that game. God will continue to expose those evil ones. You guys think that you want to disable that calling for all the call interim government, ensuring that they confuse the matter like people to bring interim government, but it will not work. Go through the ballot box. If you think you have the number, let's go through the ballot box and check the ballot box. But President John Maynard, we still have the people that bring people to believe in the president, ensuring that we can elect him for the second term. Thank you for the opportunity to get a positive mindset. We can make Mama Liberia a better place.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's take more calls from over there. Good morning. Anyway, I think we lost that. But gentlemen, let's wrap up now. We got a call. Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Your name and where you calling from?
My name is A. Kato Blano, and I join you from River G County,
Wow.
River G Commercial City called Kawakan opposite Mother Blessing Store.
Oh, wow. Anyway, welcome. How is River G this morning?
River G is super, it's cool and calm. Our heartbeat is just the political capital of Monserrado to be perceived in Moravia, the story that was brought forth to us by the police concerning some other group bringing in arms in our country. That bother our people so much.
Okay.
And we are calling on national government to empower the police to do a speedy investigation before the election time, because we had no time, we are not able to time anymore.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Let's close up on what do you guys expect will happen
go ahead.
as far as the investigation is concerned.
Um,
The investigation into the discovery of arms.
For me, and based on what I see and what I heard yesterday, for now, I will, try to be a little bit cautious, and but the kind of weapons again, this is not just an ordinary revolver,
Yeah.
Why would you bring that many type of weapons? Who are you targeting? Or you want to open your dry meat, your country meat business,
Yeah.
or, I mean, how, and is it something that you want to take people out, or that's yeah, because that's what the guns are for.
Yeah.
You even have the laser stuff on it that those are targeted like I said, surgical weapons.
Yeah.
And for now, I don't want to put the
Cat before the horse.
cart before the horse. I'll wait for the investigation before. But all of these kind of languages that are out there, cussing presidents, saying I will, bring war. We've heard all of these things. Some
Yeah.
people say I will stone the president car, all of these things. We don't need them in Liberia.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's just like you, Boyka. You were you were president of an organization or a local club. You have fanatics behind you.
Yeah.
One day one of them go out of hand. Now it's not you who's telling them, but they see and hear this kind of language and they think it is cool. And our kids coming up, and these are the leaders that they all look up to, no matter whether you're in opposition. The child in third, fourth, fifth grade will say, "Oh no, I want to be like Old Man Bwaka. I want to be like Cummins. I want to be like Joshua. I want to be, like Yeka Koluba. I want to be like Yumbli," because these are the names they're hearing.
Yeah.
And if Yumbli language is civil, they like it. Some people will hear, foul language. They might think that this is
They'll
cool.
be turned off. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think like Kwame said it rightly. We have to give the investigation chance. I just want our people to know that from what we have seen so far, the police is doing a very good job. They are not working in isolations. They are working alongside with their partners, their international partners that have to do with the U.S. Custom. And so they are going to do their best. And whatever finding they come up with, people should take it as an actual fact, because they have no reason for whatsoever, to just think someone's character who is not involved. So their partners are there. If they go wrong, the partners will come out and say, "Hey, these are international partners, not just somebody from Sino, not somebody from Bapulu, not somebody from Bomi alone, but it's a whole national issues we're talking about. It's very easy, it's very a sticky situation we are looking at." So.
Totally agree. And we just call on the political actors to give the investigation a chance and stop rendering it, invalid, and, calling it all sorts of names and attributing all kinds of different scenarios. Nobody has accused any member of the opposition. As a matter of fact, the police director on yesterday specifically said they got no reason to think that is the case as we speak at this stage, but the investigation continues. There might be additional developments, and as that unfolds, we will tell you that this concerns the state of our democracy that should concern all of us, politicians, opposition, ruling party alike. This might just hamper our own individual chances, but also, uproot our families and all of that. Fortunately, we've got it under control now. We need to work collectively to ensure that these things don't happen, that we don't have further actions of this nature. Anyway, that's all the time we have for this morning's edition of the show. It was a great edition. We have Solo Kebe, the Presidential Press Secretary, here with us. And as always, we have Kwame Weeks, the Director General of the Liberian News Agency. My name is Borkai M. Fofana. You've been listening to MICAT Hour, a production of the Ministry of Information, Culture Affairs, and Tourism. Bye-bye.